we notice that titles is required, and there's a sort of loophole in the typings here in that I could pass an empty array and both TypeScript and JavaScript would still be happy with that. And as we know, in some of our use title change effect logics, if the array is empty, that will end up crashing our hook. So we're going to make a utility type to guard against that. Essentially, this utility type will require that the string array past the titles has at least one item. So still in the types folder, I'm going to create a new type called array of one or more. And that's export type array of one or more. And this will accept a generic type. And we just want that first entry to be the generic type. And with that first entry being the generic type desired, we can union that with an array of that generic type. So back in use please stay options, we can import that type. And we'll apply it here to the titles parameter. Instead of a string array, we will add array of one or more, and the generic type here is string. Now, the same is also true for the favicon links. Even though it's optional, if it is passed, we should also guard against the empty case. But we should also guard against a single value case. That is, if we look in our favicon change effect here, a favicon links array with just one entry wouldn't exactly break our app here. It just wouldn't do anything. And so I think it's a fair type guard to require that the user pass at least two favicon links. Otherwise, the toggle effect that they expect won't happen. So very similar to array of one or more, I'm going to copy this and create a type array of two or more. We can rename the type here and just add the second value to also be that generic type T. So in the use please stay options, we will modify this to be the array of two or more and type string. And in use please stay, we can import this type and apply it to our parameters here. So the first thing I'll do is strip off all the types, and I'm going to add a comma, and we're just going to wrap this whole thing in brackets, and we can type it according to use please stay options. And as we said, the only required parameter here is titles. And with this type of notation, it's quite easy to provide default values for all the other optional parameters. So for animation type, I'll take animation type loop. And for the favicon links, this one will be undefined. For our interval, we'll take 500 milliseconds that we saw in some of the previous lessons. And we'll do should always play set to false. So this keeps the original functionality that we implemented, which is the animations will only run when focus is lost. So with these default values set, there's only one small change we need to make in our code, and that is to account for this undefined favicon links. So if we look in use favicon change effect, the first thing we'll do here is ensure that the type is that of the use please stay options. So I'm going to import that type. And of course, we don't want the full type, but we just want the type of the favicon link key in that type. And so we know this now is either undefined when it's not passed at all, but if it is defined, it has at least two elements.